welcome to another episode. A few weeks ago we put out a video on a review of our caravan owner's review, and we certainly got a good response from that, and we did get a lot of questions. So I thought for this video what I'm going to do is answer some of those questions that people put to us, because I figure that if someone's put a question to us, there's probably others wanting to know the same information. So hopefully find this helpful. When we were young, we used to watch a show called Ask the Lowland Brothers. A lot of you remember that, and viewers used to send in letters and ask them to go and check out a certain destination. So this is sort of like a newer form of that. So we're just answering questions that come in off the videos that we're putting out, hopefully sharing information that will help everyone. And the first question comes right up the front of the van. William asked, what type of hitch do we use on our Toyota to connect the zone? We use a Mr. Hitch. It has a 4,000 kilo tow rating. It's got an adjustable ball height, 3 settings you can adjust to suit your van, and also it's got a longer shank so we could fit our rock tamers. After speaking with people with both rock tamers and stone stompers, they all reckon they work fairly well, and we decided the rock tamers so we had easy access to the back of our car, because we're always accessing the fridge or the drawers in the back. We were looking for protection for the van and the car, and not wanting this to happen to us, a broken rear window or damage to the van. The zone already came with a stone guard and underbody mud flaps. And with the rock tamers set up properly, we've been very happy with their performance and protection to the van and the car to date. And William also asked, do we operate a separate MPPT charger for our solar charging of our batteries? So for those of you that may not know, MPPT Charger stands for Maximum Power Point Tracking. It's an algorithm that's included in the charger controller to extract the most power possible from your solar cells. Have I got one installed? No, not at the moment. Would I like to have one installed? Yes, I would, because at the moment our charging with the 12 volt charger, it either charges from the car or the solar, but not both at the same time. If I put an MPPT charger in, we could get power from the alternator in the car, and at the same time extracting as much solar power from the roof solar cells. So if you're thinking about it, I would advise to do it. Mark sent in a question and asked, do we use any form of positive pressure system in our zone? One of the major reasons we purchased the zone was they advertised that it's dust proof. Riding out the way. It really is. There's for the ventilation for the gas underneath the bed, there's these two plates that can be removed, and they've got a screw-in hatch, the same as what you get in a boat, so that seals dust from coming through from the bottom. And then this hatch above the bed naturally lets air in. There's air vents up through here, so air naturally comes in there and then drops through to the floor where those other vents are. The other thing we found, when it's really windy, we have to leave this hatch partially open, otherwise the wind gets under it from outside and really blows this and shakes around. So we just leave that open with a gap like that. That lets the air come through and it stops that cover from shaking around. So the triple seal hatches everywhere, limited vents, dust really doesn't get in. The only time we've had dust in here is when we've forgotten to put those covers over the holes under the bed. Dometic make a pressurising system that goes on your roof. It is made up with a big vent with a filter in it. No motors, it's just work from the pressure moving forward, forcing air into the van that pressurises the van. But we don't really need that in our zone. We did come across somebody that had one fitted to their Jayco, and then when they arrived at their destination, they walked into the van, looked up and saw blue sky. It had absolutely detached from the top of the roof and blown off. So he had to come up with an ingenious fix out in the bush, and he got a can of spray foam and moulded a piece over it to cover the hole up until he got back. Robin asked where we purchased the covers for the legs on the awning, and she was also very sharp in looking that we had some little covers for our padlocks that we use around the van, and where did we obtain those from. So the padlock covers, unfortunately you can't pick them up anywhere. The cook makes those up in her spare time. And the covers for the awning arms, we purchase those directly from Zone. They actually make them up in-house. Nigel asked whether you need the anti-flapper kit and the support bars for the awning. We didn't order them with the van, but we certainly found out quickly that you do need them. You all know some days the wind does pick up. It's enough to make your hair stand on end, and some days it's so windy it'll blow a seagull off your bonnet. What? Let's have a quick look at that again. We had the service department at Zone fit all these up, the anti-flappers and the support bars, and they work really well. We've been in some windy days where we haven't had to pull down the awning, whereas before we would have had to quickly get the awning in. Peter asked if we had an anti-sway system fitted as an optional extra to our van. And if you don't want the possibility of ending up like this van we saw on the side of the road, the answer is absolutely yes, it's a must. Zone fitted a BM Pro, and it's described as a proactive electronic stability control that can automatically stabilise your caravan. Set up van, well loaded, is unlikely to sway and move all over the road, but it's like a lot of things in your van, it's just another insurance policy just in case something happens one day. Not sure about the story about this particular van, but it was on the side of the road, and most times when a caravan rolls, there's not much to recover. Carol asked how we secure our van if we're at a free camp and we want to leave for a short period. We have a large cable we put around the wheels, and also the DM35 lock up the front. So we thought we'd add a few other optional extras that we've fitted that you might find handy. A lot of this information that we pass on, we've actually picked it up from other zoners and other caravanners, so that's a good thing about caravanning. If you don't know what to do, there's someone else that's already thought it out before you, and they're normally eager to share the information. So here's a caravan water tank fill up point, and there is just one issue here. You need a handle for the tap. So you can pick these up at the hardware. I believe Bunnings have them. 4 different tap sizes, and a very handy gadget. So here's another very handy gadget for filling 3 tanks up at once on your zone. You pick this up at Bunnings, you have to make it up. You can actually buy this manifold by itself, and then you just make the short hoses up, and it's an exact fit for the manifold on the zone. So just before you connect it to the caravan, you just need to set your flow rate. It's in the manual, it says don't put the tanks on full pressure so you don't expand the tanks. So you can actually adjust the flow before you connect it. So that then directly connects up to the zone manifold, and you can turn the main tap on and fill 3 tanks simultaneously. And then as they fill, you can actually close off one at a time. Another addition we've added is a best water filter, just a portable one, and we connect that into the incoming supply, so the water that we're putting into our water tanks has been filtered. As we all know, water quality varies from one location to another. Some's very soft and feels very good, and other water's very hard and contains different minerals. So if you can filter that before you go into the water tank, and then you've got your filter on board as well, you've got the best chance of getting the cleanest water. Good UHF communication is very important on the road. We all come across these wide loads occasionally, some of them 7 metres wide, taking up nearly the whole highway. So you need to be able to communicate with them to get around them or get off the road if they're coming the other way. So we came across 2 of these in convoy, and they wanted us to get around them because they don't want the traffic banking up behind them. Fairly scary getting around the side of them with not much road left as we passed. So either a onboard UHF or at least a 5-watt portable handheld radio is essential. We use a handheld UHF radio for reversing into tight places. Got the co-pilot out the back as my set of eyes, as well as the camera, but it's good to have someone behind the van. So this is a 5-watt UHF, you can get them in 2-watt as well. So whether you've ordered a caravan and you're anxiously waiting, or you've just picked one up, or you've been caravanning for years, you never stop learning, and we hope you've got some useful hints out of this video, and we're looking forward to seeing you again shortly with another Graham and Ann's Great Adventures. Thanks for watching. stop.